Here's one towards the goal. That's going to be gloved by Travis Ridgen. Well, this is more like it.
This is Slangin The Bizkit. Here's Travis Ridgen and Dave Wheeler.
Let's bang the gong and get it on. Ready, Dave?
Oh, I love it. Love it.
We're going early, we're going often, as we always
get
do.
A little T-Rex, man. How do you know T-Rex?
What do you mean T-Rex?
Yeah, it's bang a gong, get it on.
It's my life coach says to me every time we do a session. He's like, let's bang the gong, let's get it on.
Next time you talk to him, you can say, yeah, thank you, T-Rex.
Every time he says it, it reminds me of Step Brothers when he says, I saw my son use a bicycle as a weapon. He said, let's get it on. And I swear, he had the craziest look in his eye.
I used to play, I'll tell you a quick story. This was in men's league, long after my time. And the fun part about getting older playing men's league hockey is that you've got these guys that have just come out of whatever level of junior or whatever level of midget, and they want to keep playing, and so they join men's league. And, you know, it's a fairly competitive men's league team, or men's league. And right in front of our bench, a guy on another team, young, full of piss and vinegar. You could tell he was just playing his first season of men's league, and he was skating around like he was the cock of the walk and, you know, trying to dangle a little bit and pull it in from inside of his leg on the outside, stuff like that. And so right in front of our bench, there was a little skirmish, and he looked up and he shoved and he shook his mitts at one of our defensemen. He shook his mitts and wagged his chin. Well, when you're in your mid-30s and you've already, you know, seen enough, that's all he needed. My buddy just dropped his mitts and then 1-2 down on the ground. I remember the guy coming up, rising above the bench because I was just sitting there watching, rising like the dead, and he just went, I was only kidding, man. I didn't want to fight. It's like, well, then don't shake your mitts and waggle your chin at a guy. You're going to learn that. You should have known that from whatever you were playing beforehand. Just because you don't have a cage on anymore. You're not as brave as you once were.
Well, he was rising like it was Easter Sunday kind of deal?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my guy was already halfway showered. He was done. He was in the locker room, already having his first beer. He knew he was done for the night.
I always find that interesting, especially like in a lot of other brawls. Like you'll have like 2 to 3 guys that are going at it heavily, and the other 2 to 3 guys, sometimes even the goalies, everybody just like grabs like a side of a jersey just to like look the part. But actually, like we're not trying to get engaged. We're just trying to like neutralize things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I remember times like whether there was a line brawl or bench brawl or whatever it may be. There's a guy that you grab onto, and you'd have a quick conversation. I mean, I know you're a goaltender. You kind of hide in your crease for the most part. You don't know this a lot of stuff. But a lot of times you'll have a quick conversation, like you'll square off. And I'll usually wait, and I would stand there until the guy goes, we don't have to fight. I'm like, all right, fine. So we just stand there and just kind of grapple on and hang each other and throw the shoulder out every once in a while. If a guy doesn't want to fight, doesn't want to fight, but you always got to be ready, early and often.
As we always say. I was talking to Babs. Remember our boy, Trevor Babin?
Of course. Where is he? Is he still in Motor City?
No, he was actually up in the East Coast with Kalamazoo with the Wings. He just got sent back down to Motor City the other day, maybe 2 days ago.
He wouldn't have gone back down to the SP because I remember he had some time, half a season up in the SP last year, didn't he?
I think he played about one game. I think he was up there for a couple days. And I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I don't think he had any SP interest. It was just Kalamazoo and the East Coast down to Motor City.
Okay.
But we were talking the other day, and we were actually talking about exactly that, talking about fights, goalie fights and scraps. And, you know, I told him if we got to bang the gong and get it on, I don't want him to hit me, and I don't want to hit him because, you know, I love him. He's like a brother. But there's lots of other guys that I definitely wouldn't have that approach to.
Well, listen, if you are going to bang a gong and get it on, hopefully you are fighting a T-Rex with those short arms.
I'm telling you, Dave, the biggest secret in any goalie fight, there's like an elastic strap.
Yeah, use your
the
blocker.
That's not banging the gong getting on, Dave. That's throwing the gong at him. But there's like an elastic wrist strap, like around like the arms of the goalie pads. And if you can get that undone before you start, when somebody grabs your arm, you can slide it through the whole chesty, and then you get this whole uncovered natural arm, and you can just whack somebody because, I mean, you're basically a Michelin man in the suit, and then you have one free arm. So that's a little tip out there for anybody listening.
Yeah. Amazing little tricks that I remember. I mean, keep in mind when I was playing, the shoulder pads were only yay thick, but I remember guys knowing if they were thinking about going that night, whatever period, they would just make sure that the arm, that strap would be undone. The elbow pad would be a little bit looser, so you just had to give it one shake, and then you had that free arm. One guy that I actually coached when I was coaching in Lloydminster in the Alberta Junior League, he would cut a hole out of every single one of his, whatever pair of gloves he has, he'd slice it right through the rawhide in the middle so he could get his hand out and grab a jersey when he needed to be. If he really wanted to get in with somebody, he could grab the jersey that way, and it still had the glove covering his hand. It was actually really funny because I learned something today. Wes Welker told this story on Travis Kelce and his brother's podcast. It's always funny. It's Travis Kelce and his brother, but their podcast, New Heights. And he talked about how whenever Travis Kelce was complaining, saying, yeah, whenever teams are playing us, they're wearing red gloves. And Wes Welker goes, we were told by Belichick a long time ago. He goes, I got called for a holding penalty. Belichick walks in the locker room. He goes, we have Mr. Red Gloves over here playing against a team with white jerseys. We saw that from the nosebleeds, you idiot. And it's actually a strategy now that especially receivers and DBs and whatnot will wear the color of glove as the opponents they're playing against. So it's tougher to see if they pull onto the jersey or not. Oh, yeah. Listen, man, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Oh, do you see that finish to the Bills-Giants game the other day? I think there was a hold there. I'm just saying. I think so.
You'd think with all of the angles and all of the referees and all the everything they've got out there, it baffles me that they're still able to miss calls.
But is that not the beauty of it, though? The beauty of the sport is that it's human. There's mistakes. It's an imperfect game, as it always has been.
Well, if that's the case, then take away the cameras. I mean, let's leave it down to the humans. I mean, let's use the cameras and whatnot for our sake, being fans and whatnot. But when it comes right down to it, let's leave the referees to do what they do. Because now at this point, I mean, they're kind of being taken over by AI as well. It's the robots that are watching.
I would love to see interviews with the referees post-game. I know they can't do any media, but to actually have them be asked questions and them face some music, that'd be interesting.
I have said that for years, especially in the playoffs. Maybe not regular season, but especially in the playoffs. I think that you should get at least 15 minutes of a junket with one, if not two, of the officials, especially in the NHL.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out, though, to the ref that was reffing us for the preseason game against the Elmira River Sharks the other day, or I guess last week. That guy was an absolute beauty. He was passing me gum the whole game for the second and third period on the bench. What a beauty. I can't remember
you
his
just
name.
like the people that feed you food, huh? You're like a zoo animal. Please do not feed the Travis Ridgens.
I'll take what I can get. Just take the meat, throw it over the wall, and just let me feast.
Listen, I know your most recent vlog went up talking about training camp. So where are we now?
I made a whoopsie yesterday. Do you see that?
What'd you do? I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, I accidentally uploaded today's video yesterday, but it wasn't ready to go, and it didn't have a thumbnail or a title, and I made a big whoopsie, and then people were commenting, like all the comments were, I don't think you meant to upload this, and that was true. I didn't mean to, so I had to take it down, fix it, re-upload it, and then put it up today.
Oh, well, I'm halfway through watching it, so you had me fooled.
Oh, perfect, because I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, every Sunday and Wednesday now, moving forward.
All right, so since the podcast is more up-to-date and more live, where are we at with the Travis Ridgen saga getting a start in the cage for the Watertown Wolves?
Yeah, so we're a little bit away from that. So this past week we played our opening weekend against the defending champion Danbury Hat. So we played the first game at home. We had brand new jerseys. We had these, I don't know if you saw on the live stream, Dave, we have these like navy faded in, faded out of white jerseys. They look nice. I like the navies a lot. And we also have the white ones. They're specialty jerseys, and I believe we're auctioning them off after this weekend. I could be wrong on that. But then as far as the actual games go,
as far as I understand, they auction off jerseys before you get on the ice. So what's the difference?
Yes, I actually, did we tell that story last time, or do I have to tell
you
that story?
did. Yeah. You're number 31.
Yeah, so for anybody asking, I'm number 33. That's my number for the season. For the preseason game, I wore number 31. Why was I wear number 31? Because we sold the number 33 jersey before the game. So we sold it. And actually, the lady who bought it, Karen, shout out her. She's been a day one listener of the podcast for a very long time. And I actually hand-delivered her the jersey after the game. I'll put a video or a picture on the video version of the podcast. And although I didn't wear the jersey, she was disappointed it wasn't game used. So I didn't get to wear 33, but she did get the jersey after the game, but it wasn't game used. So
you should have thrown it on and gone. You should have thrown it on and done the entire stairs of the arena just to get a little bit of sweat on it.
A little blood stain?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It felt like... what's the not Macy's, Nordstrom in Vancouver, and they had the going out of business sale when like everything was for sale, like you buy anything. That's what it kind of felt like. If you want, we will sell you anything in this arena, including the arena itself, for the right price.
Do you want the jersey, the hanger, and the rack that it was on? We'll give you a great deal on it.
So the laundry detergent too that we're almost out of.
Oh, Liz, stop it. You've played enough pro hockey now that you know you never take shots, whether passive or aggressive, at the athletic trainers or the equipment managers, because they will make your life a nightmare. You be the nicest of those guys.
You know our equipment guy, though. Mikey, he's a beauty. He's a Winnipeg boy, too.
Absolute beauty, but you treat him like gold.
I absolutely have so far. He's a great guy.
Good.
But yeah, that was the story behind the 33 jersey and wearing 31. But as far as his actual weekend goes, so yours truly was scratched for this weekend for both the home opener versus Danbury Hat, and then the away game on the road the following day versus Danbury. So it ended up being a 6-5 win for us opening night. We actually came back from a 2-0 lead, we were down 2-0, came back and tied it, and then we were down 5-3, I believe, came back and won at 6-5. And then the following night, I believe we fell down 2-0 again, came back 2-2, and then we ended up losing 5-2. So we're 1-1 on the weekend, and damn, that Danbury team is very good, I got to say. But I did want to talk a little bit about that, because this is part of the story, right? This is part of the magic that you and I have talked about, is that my story unfolds as we talk about it. I don't know what's going to happen next. You don't. Nobody does, and I think that's the appealing part. Is as much as you want to know what's going to happen next, I want to know as well, because I'm living it every single day, right?
Yeah, this is like Disney Plus version of Welcome to Ridgeon.
Yeah, maybe I should retitle the series from Life in the Fed to Welcome to Ridgeon. What do you think?
Yeah, there you go. You might get some accidental clicks on that.
Well,
can you talk in a Welsh accent?
I can't. Well, we've been over this. My McGregor accent, my Irish accent is horrible.
Yeah, it is. It's true. Yeah,
I've tried
leave
my
those
best.
to me.
Somebody told me the other day my Irish accent was pretty good. I think they were lying to me, though.
Well, they probably weren't Irish.
Exactly. Bingo. But I did want to talk a little bit about that. So, the whole getting scratched thing, being the third goalie for both the Friday and Saturday game, I think this was a fantastic opportunity to change my perspective. Because you come in, my expectation for the season was I was going to be the number 2 guy. So to be the number 3 guy for opening weekend, it's an ego blow, and I'm not going to lie. But to change your perspective to say, you're not going to be dressed for this weekend, okay, good. Honestly, this is fantastic. This is an amazing opportunity to show my general manager, my coach, and more importantly, my team and everybody watching both the vlog, the podcast, and all around in person, to show them my character, to show them that I'm a team player, I'm a good guy, I support us, I'm going to take this absolutely professionally, not personally one bit, and I'm going to take it in stride, I'm going to take it right off the chin, and I'm going to work harder so that when I get that first start, when I get that opportunity, it's going to taste that much better. And also, when I do get in the cage, the guys are going to know he's not just some a-hole who's, a cocky prick. He's a guy that, he took his lickings. He was in the stands for the first 2, possibly even more games of the season. He's working hard. He's a good guy, and we want to play for the guy. Which, again, I think last year in Motor City, my former employer, so I'm not allowed to say that anymore. When I did get in the cage, the guys were so excited because they knew that I was there to support everybody and support my starting goalie day in, day out, regardless of whatever happened. So I think that's the exact same thing that'll happen here. And also, from my own personal growth perspective personally, now, hear me out on this, because some people may not like this at the beginning, but I'm going to explain this fully. Playing in the Fed, playing for the Watertown Wolves, this podcast, my vlog, none of it really means anything in the grand scheme of things. It really doesn't. What means something is what kind of person, what kind of man are you? Right? Like when you're on your deathbed, when I'm dying, does anybody care that I played in the Fed? Not really. Does anybody care about my podcast or your radio show? No offense, Dave. Nobody really cares about that. It's what kind of a person, what kind of integrity and character did you have? And this is a fantastic opportunity, again, to upgrade my character of, okay, I can take some more shit. I can deal with this. I'm going to take this in stride. I'm going to show that I'm a good man, not to just my teammates and the people around me, but to myself, to prove to myself that I am worthy, that I am absolutely worthy of the opportunities that will come to me in the future, because I take this like a champ, and nobody else can take this in stride as well as I can.
Listen, I'll give you a couple quotes. Number 1, you can't have a good story without character. So you're certainly not lacking in that. There's a guy by the name of Jocko, and if you search Jocko Good, you'll come across a 2-minute YouTube video where he says, this guy was coming up and he was complaining about me, about his life, and he says, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, what am I going to say? You're going to say, good. Yeah. You didn't get promoted? Good. Time to get better. You didn't get you didn't get to go on that thing that you didn't want to go to? Good. You get to go another time and it'll be even better. Something bad happened? Good, because something good's going to come out of it. It gives you a chance to build as a human being. And if, I always say to my kids, when is the day you stop learning? The day you die. Because if you're not learning something every single day, then what are you doing here? So if it's a hard lesson, good. It'll make you better.
Well, I couldn't agree more, but if you've stopped being willing to learn, you've already died internally. You're just wasting time. True or false?
Right, exactly. Got to learn something new every day.
Yeah, taking it as a lesson, taking it off the chin, and ultimately, this is part of the game. This is what I signed up for, right? I think the big mental hurdle for a lot of guys, and this is myself included, this is something I'm working on. And we've talked a lot the last couple weeks, even months, about this like self-improvement, self-help journey, right? Like I'm going to go into therapy, I'm trying to work on a lot of underlying issues, and this is where the failures maybe that I had last year, my former employer, even failures of the past, this is where we're going to write them. I'm trying to detach the emotional triggers of those issues, maybe like some stuff from my childhood, into this, where, again, taking it as a professional. I'm going to take this in stride, and this is going to be the best possible thing. This is great. I'm going to become the best version of myself that I possibly can be. Do I want it to be this way? No, but I'm going to make the absolute most out of this. And when that opportunity comes, I'm going to prove to myself that I'm worthy. I'm going to prove to my teammates, to the fans, to everybody in this organization and in this league, because, again, we're documenting on a week-by-week basis. There's no fluff. This is the real deal, that I am more than worthy. And I think that's the only way you can go about this.
It's all that much sweeter, too. When it finally comes to fruition, it's all that much sweeter, and it's not complacent.
And it just builds anticipation. The kettle is boiling.
Mm-hmm. Early and often, son. Go get it.
Bang the gong. Get it on.
T-Rex, baby.
Have you noticed I have T-Rex arms? Have you noticed that as well or no?
What are you talking about? You're a giant. You're 6'5". You got arms that are longer than some people.
That's true. However, when
For
I compare...
a goaltender, though, they are a little short.
Okay, so I have to say, I know we talked about taking a little bit of a break from dating. Jesus Christ, I just had a stroke live on the air. I went on a date the other day with this lady who's 6 feet, and we compared like hip bones, like where does our hips meet? Her hip started...
Sorry, you don't want to know what my first mental image was when you were measuring hips.
It's not like that, Dave. This was very professional, okay? We were measuring like where my hip bone started compared to hers, because I'm 6'5", she's 6 feet, and her hip bone started almost kind of like by my belly button. So she was all leg, no torso, almost kind of like
Slender Man.
No, what's the guy in Monsters Inc. with all leg, no body?
Oh yeah, Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski. There we go. Kind of, but significantly better looking.
Wazowski.
What's the lady, the receptionist lady, where she's like, "I'm watching you, Wazowski. I'm always watching you,
Wazowski." Great vocal performance.
But yeah, we were comparing, and I think I have abnormally shorter legs for a tall person. Like, I'm all torso, but I also have these like T-Rex arms. I don't have very long arms.
Yeah, listen, man, we can't all be blessed with that handsome jawline of yours. So you know what? Shut up.
Hey, did you notice? I got the beard taper. The jawline looks a little bit better this week. No?
I did. I noticed that. I can't wait to hear about what instruments you use to get it all sharp and symmetrical like that.
Well, we had to sharpen my, not my beard below the waist, but we had to get everything in running order in our Sheath Underwear, as we always do every single week from the team at Sheath Underwear, the best underwear that money can buy. Let's tell you about it. Sheath has been with the podcast since day one. The reason being they have this incredible dual pouch technology to separate your dick and your balls so they don't stick to the side of your leg. They're not going to bat wing, and they're not getting all sweaty and sticky and disgusting. It's incredible. You partner that with their incredible bamboo mesh cooling technology, keep you cool on those hot summer days, insulate on those warm winter nights, especially starting to get cold, fall season, starting in the winter. You're going to want to get a pair of Sheath Underwear. Founded by a member of the U.S. Marines who's spending weeks on end in Afghanistan and Iraq, couldn't change out his gitch. He said, boom, let's fix this. Enter Sheath Underwear. And right now, for listening to this show, if you go to the link in the video description on the YouTube version of the show or in the Apple Podcast and notes, you can click on sheathunderwear.com, use the code BIZKIT69, BIZKIT 69 for 20% off the greatest pair of underwear money can buy. Only
it's a great way to take care of your sword and keep it sharp. Make sure it's sheathed until you need to use it.
You notice a lot of guys do that celebration where they kind of like twirl a stick and then boom, they put it like in the sheath in the side of their belt. You notice that too? Yeah,
absolutely.
I've tried starting to do that with my goalie stick, but I only have like half the paddle.
Chai Rodriguez did that on the golf course one time. He pretended he was fencing and then sheathed his sword. I think he may have been one of the first to do that.
Do you think I can find that video clip on YouTube?
Of Chai? Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to try to find that after and put it in the video version of the show, which is always why watching the video version is better. Also, last week was hot. We had well over 5,000 listens between the video and the audio version of the show.
Great. Love it. Make sure you sign up to be a Patreon member, too. You get bonus episodes, you get mugs, you get hockey cards. Man, if you're into the show, thank you for coming along and sign up. Sign up to be a Patreon member now. There's a link down in the podcast description.
Every single Sunday. Yeah, we had a couple of new members join as well. But there was one thing that I did want to talk about from this past weekend. They call him the baddest man in hockey. His name is Daniel Diamond Hands Amesbury. I believe he's a Vancouver boy, born and raised in Vancouver, same place that I live in the summers, and playing for the Danbury Hat. And watching some of his fights online, I'll put some video on the video version of the show. This guy, he's got to be probably one of the toughest fighters out there. Like, he is insane just how hard he bangs. He bangs that gong, and he will hit you with the gong while he's banging you, too. Not in that way, but in a different way. And
I saw a couple of YouTube videos of him in the boxing ring doing some of those tough man competitions, and I've always said, like, if you can get a hockey player out of skates, like lacrosse, when lacrosse players fight, they're getting solid footing and they are chucking knuckles hard. And when you can get a guy that could be solid on his skates like that and throw haymakers like that, that's a dangerous dude.
Yeah, lacrosse has got to be the only sport in the world, though, where you can actually have a legitimate, real fight and not get like an assault charge. Because, like, yeah, hockey you can fight, but it's not the same. It's a different kind of fighting. It's totally different.
Yeah, like I said, you're getting solid footing. You're able to plant and root your foot into the ground, and yeah, it's different. Boxing as well. We can throw boxing and MMA in there, and mixed martial arts.
Yeah, and you can't pull like a Leonidas in 300, like kick him down the well with skates on.
Yeah. This is Sparta.
This is Watertown. Get in the hole.
Yeah, and you know what? Listen, it's a. I took boxing as a way to get better, to be a better fighter on the ice, and I had taken some martial arts too when I was younger for balance, and I know you're doing the jiu-jitsu and whatnot. Anything helps. Like, honestly, anything helps. There was guys that I knew that took figure skating to help with their skating, goaltenders and defensemen. I know guys that took ballet to work on their balance. I know dudes that do jiu-jitsu like you do. I am a big fan. We've talked about this on last season, but I'm a big fan of cross-training. If you're going to train for hockey, find something else that's going to counterbalance, but still offer you an ability to get better at hockey, whether it be balance, whether it be hand-eye, something. But it can't just all be hockey. You really need to cross-train, especially for your brain, too, just to think in different ways, get different muscle groups going. But no, I'm always a big fan of cross-training. And it's interesting, though, with the boxing, as much as you learn how to strike properly and hit with your hand instead of, thunder smashing and whatnot, there's no way they can teach you how to fight on the ice. It is a completely different nut having to wear blades of steel on your feet while somebody's throwing knuckles at you. It is almost unteachable. It's just something that you got to kind of figure out.
Well, absolutely. Like, we have, I would say, probably like 5 or 6 tough guys in the league where it's like they only fight each other because they're just so incredibly tough and they just hit so hard like bricks. And then you have the rest of the league who, like, they'll fight amongst each other. But I mean, guys like Amesbury's one, Justin Schmidt, Alex Basie now in Columbus, Elias Thompson, Big Sexy. I would put him in that category as well. Miss him. Hope he's doing well if he's listening to the show.
Well, if there's anybody in the league, if there's anybody in the Fed or the SP or the Coast or whatever, if you're playing hockey and fighting happens to be part of your repertoire, I'm going to give you a bit of a hack here, okay? Now, this comes from Vasily Lomachenko, who is a professional boxer, and he's incredible. They call him the Matrix. He's quick. And I've studied his fighting style. Now, he is he stands regular, right? So he stands like this. If you're mirroring me, he's got his power hand, like he's supposed to stand like this. He is a right-hand dominant fighter, but he stands southpaw. And I couldn't figure it out, and I dug in some interviews and whatnot, and he said, why wouldn't I have my power hand in front? If I can get the hand that's more accurate and more powerful in front and lead with that, if I can knock them off guard, then I can switch my stance and really kind of lay some haymakers. Do yourself a favor, start lining up the opposite way that you normally do. If you stand regular, stand southpaw. It'll change the way you think about fighting, and it'll probably end up help you winning a couple more. Give it a shot.
It makes sense, though. Absolutely does. We should, next time I'm in the city of Winnipeg, we should get into a jiu-jitsu studio and do some rolling, you and me.
Sure. Yeah, I'm done.
Hips 100%, so we can absolutely do that. I wasn't able to do that.
You want to
before.
measure hips? Is that what you want to do? Is this your pickup line now? I'm measuring. Hey, you want to measure hips?
No, my pickup line is let's bang the gong, get it on later tonight. What do you say?
Just skip and go. T-Rex. Chin waggle. T-Rex.
Leonidas style? What do you say?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Travis. This is Sparta.
Let me pillage your village.
Let me unsheath my Sparta.
We're bad. We're really bad. A lot of people probably stop listening to the show by now. But speaking of fights, though.
Speaking of boxing, do you want to talk about the Logan Paul thing?
Yeah, we got to talk about the Logan Paul Dillon Danis fight. Like, what a... I don't know if I want to say, like, what an incredible event or just what a gong show.
I'll be honest with you. Listen, when you go in to watch Logan Paul fight, these are the two things that I want you to keep in mind. At every time you watch a highlight, you turn on the fight, whatever it may be. He is not a boxer. He is a prize fighter. He is putting on a show. He is a prize fighter. The more people watching, the more money he makes. He is there to put on a show. Until he gets into the ring in an actual WBA sanctioned fight where he's going to climb the ranks and fight against an actual boxer, I will not call him a boxer. I will not call it a boxing match. I will call it a fight. I will call it a prize fight. I honestly think he's at the point now. He's got maybe another year of this crap, but if he doesn't go into actual ranked boxing, I think you're going to see him fall off. I don't think you're going to see people want to watch this charade anymore. I think he's actually good enough that he could compete. I think he actually could get into the rankings. I don't know if he's a title contender, but I think he's good enough to be in the mix.
What about Jake Paul? Do you think Jake Paul is better?
I'll be honest with you. I don't follow those two enough to know. Wait, which one's the tattooed one?
Jake Paul's got the tattoos.
I think Jake Paul is the better fighter out of the two.
And you can take him more seriously because he's like 7-1.
Both of them are the same way. They're both prize fighters. That's all.
It's very true. I think Logan Paul's unjuiced though. You seen his body?
He looks more like one of the Klitschko brothers. Like he is built very symmetrically. Yeah. Again, with prize fighting, nobody's doing drug tests. Nobody's checking for enhancements and whatnot. They're looking for a show.
Load a horse trank in the ass.
Like I said last week, man, even earlier on this show, when it comes to that kind of stuff, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And that seems to be the motto with a lot of pro athletes to get that extra edge. I was playing in junior with guys who were taking steroids just because I thought it would give them an extra edge. Everyone's trying to get that upper edge.
It's true, everybody is. But do you see the submission that Dillon Danis tried to pull at the end?
Yeah, that got and that's the risk you run when you're not fighting actual boxers. When you're taking retired MMA guys who are losing and are going to default to what they know to try and win a fight because instinct kicks in, they're going to try and take down. They're going to try a chokehold. Even Conor McGregor, when he was fighting Floyd Mayweather, was starting to go with the backhands. They're like, you can't do that. You can't do that. This is a show. It's not a boxing match.
I would love to see him submit him, but he failed miserably. Then all the security came in, then all hell broke loose out there.
That I did see. That was quite entertaining.
Yeah, definitely not worth the money. I'm glad I didn't pay for the pay-per-view. I did stream it on Stream East for free, as we always do. If anybody's looking for a great website to stream for free, Stream East is fantastic. Or On Hockey, it's great for watching games for free.
I care about my CPU too much to load it up with viruses.
Well, I'm trying to save money and not spend $60 on a pay-per-view. But
that's why I don't watch. I'll catch the highlights.
Or I can tell you about them later.
Exactly.
I also did want to say one note, too. Our boy Matt Murray, good friend of mine, his surgery and his LTR information went public. So I just wanted to again, wish him the best of luck. My boy out there in Ontario, he's rehabbing from double hip surgery, not just single, but double. And he's going to be back probably sometime later this season. I look forward to watching him. And yeah, dude, like I said, our friendship has really flourished in the last 2 to 3 months. He's an unreal guy. I think people should give him a chance and maybe not jump on the haterade and on the hate bandwagon because he's an unreal goaltender, world class. He's been one of the best the past couple of years, even though, excuse me, he's been on poor teams in Ottawa and the Penguins, I think, his last year. But he's been one of the most dominant goalies the past couple of years. And on top of that, like I said before, just a great guy and an amazing human being.
Yeah, well, listen, the injury bug has hit the NHL already. I mean, Cody Dack is out 4 to 6 weeks with the Montreal Canadiens. Velarde's out with the Winnipeg Jets. It didn't take long for that injury bug to start rearing its head in the National Hockey League. Yeah,
Hellebuyck's off to a slow start, too. Bobrovsky as well.
Yeah, noticed that. I don't know, man. It's that's one of the fallouts of signing a big contract like that. I'm not saying guys like Hellebuyck still aren't hungry. They are. But a little bit of that hunger goes away when you see all the zeros at the end of that paycheck where you can kind of go, you know what I mean? I'm not saying all the way. I'm just saying a little bit of that gas has been taken out of the tank. It's not quite full because there is a part of the brain that goes, you don't got to worry. You don't have to have that extra little fight. You've got your contract. You did what you did. You're going to get paid. And it's just a notch. Sometimes it's a little more. He will get back to a full tank, but especially because it was signed so close at the beginning of the season, I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a 7-year contract kind of creep in a little bit.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. He's making $6 million this year and then $8.9 next year, correct?
I believe so. I don't have all the details off the top of my head, but I know his cap hits around $6 million. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now he's making about $18,000-$19,000 every single day USD, and then when the new contract kicks in, he'll probably be closer to about $30,000 a day. Think what? Just today he made $20,000. That's not a bad day.
Sign up to be a Patreon member. There's a link down on the pod script. $5 a month. Every little bit helps, ladies and gentlemen.
You can afford it, Connor. Please join. We got a great sweater waiting for you, too, in extra large sizing.
You can pick your number, 33, 31. We don't care. We'll give you the ones off our back.
Man, at that point, I will personally show up to your house. I'll walk your dog. I'll take out your trash. I'll take your wife on a date if you don't really want to do that either. Like I'll do whatever you want at that kind of money.
Listen, I always loved it when the word sellout came to bands. I'm like, do you think they came out of their basement to play guitar so they could make crap money? Did you think they were going to say, no, I'm good, I'm fine, I'll just play my guitar and continue to live in a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 other dudes? No, out there to make some money. Let's go. If you can do it while you're doing something you love, even better.
Speaking of things that you can afford, the team at Manscaped.com, the second sponsor for the show, as they are every single week, right, Dave?
Oh, my goodness. Manscaped, I am actually at the point now where the hair's getting real long, the beard's getting real long. I've got a plan for Halloween, and then after that, Manscaped is going to come down and trim all this up, and I'll look respectable again for my family.
Absolutely. And you can only do that with the Manscaped Beard Hedger. It has 20 different lengths. It has a 60-minute battery life. It is waterproof, so you cannot electrocute yourself in the shower. As always, I try. It doesn't work. And yeah, you want to get it dialed in. You want to get the mustache in there. You want to get that Leonidas jawline. You can do that only with the team at Manscaped with the code BISKIT for 20% off. Only from the team at Manscaped. There's a link in the video description and the Apple podcasting notes and Spotify as well if you're in the car listening too. So thanks to Manscaped.
Thank you very much indeed to all of our sponsors, because it keeps this podcast free, and so we'd like to continue keeping it free. And so if you get a chance, click on those links, and if you're in the market for either Sheath Underwear or the Manscaped Beard Hedger, go click it and have a look. Great Christmas gifts too for family members and fathers, and yeah, it's good.
Speaking of good, one thing I did want to talk to you about, and I've had this in the notes for quite a while, okay? So yours truly was living in Vancouver this past, July through August, in that ballpark-ish? I don't know why I'm asking you. I was the one who lived there, so never mind. Just don't answer that question.
I'm familiar with Van. I mean, I'm familiar with most of the of Western Canada. I've worked in most of it.
Have you actually worked in Vancouver before?
No, I haven't. I've spent time in Vancouver, like notable amount of time in Vancouver. I have been on the air in Vancouver. I was on the Brother Jake show on Rock 101 years ago, when I was, they were kind of doing this morning show mentorship program, and I was teamed up with Jake. For those that don't know Jake Edwards, you might be familiar with an old bit called, "Hey, hey, hey, it's me, the champ." That was Brother Jake Edwards. He was a legendary voice in radio throughout Canada for many, many years. But I'm familiar enough with Vancouver. I've got friends that lived out there. I've seen concerts out there. I've gone snowboarding out there. Whistler was like a backyard for a little while. So, yeah, I'm familiar with the territory.
Yeah, beautiful city too. But my plan was whenever the season is done, it could be April, it could be May, depending on how long we go. But whenever the season is done, I'm going to go back to be in Vancouver full time, and it's time to get a new vehicle. I haven't gotten a vehicle in about 3 years since I sold my truck before I went to Sweden. I wanted to pose this question to the audience because I'm not really a vehicle guy. I know Dave knows a little bit more about it. What kind of truck should I get? I was thinking a Silverado. What do you think?
I don't think it's necessarily what kind of truck. I think what you're looking for is something that's going to be functional. And as much as a lot of people are going to suggest an EV for you because of the amount of traveling.
Absolutely not. I'm getting a dinosaur fossil fuel burner.
There are going to be people that suggest an EV, and I'll be honest with you, they are very handy, but the infrastructure across Canada, and especially for the amount that you're going to be traveling, doing this, a traveling circus of playing professional hockey, you need something that's going to run on gas. I would suggest something that's going to be good for a lot of kilometers, a lot of highway driving. I know my uncle and my cousin who work on the pipeline swear by the Toyota Tacomas. Those engines will go forever. Look at something that's going to be, I managed to get 500,000 kilometers, 600,000 kilometers, 700,000 kilometers. Whatever vehicle has that as a high point or as a selling point, go with that one. You're going to be putting a lot of miles on.
I was going to say to you, I've heard a lot of good things about the Tacoma. So I don't know. If you know anything about trucks, let me know, because it's going to be I'm going to have to move from all my stuff, my mom's house to in Vancouver and for the summer, and then move back for the season wherever I play next season. And got to have a truck that's not going to break down on the side of the highway down number 1 outside of Golden, BC. So
I'll be honest, I drive a big souped-up F-150, and not because I chose it, my wife did, and that's the honest-to-God's truth, because I hate driving that thing because it does not match my penis.
Because it's too big or too small?
You know the saying about guys with big trucks, right? So my wife picked that, for the record.
Because her hog is huge.
You're right.
Somebody honks you, tells you that you're compensating. No, it's my wife's truck, not mine. I didn't want this.
I've got an F-150 and it's got 180,000 kilometers on it and it's still running great. So listen, as long as you keep it maintained, as long as you take care of it and you treat it like it's your bedroom, depending on how you keep your bedroom. I
run a tight ship. Bed made every single day. Laundry's always folded nice and neatly. You can walk in my bedroom.
Jordan Peterson would be proud.
I know he would. Damn right. All part of that self-improvement. I make my bed. I do my laundry. I'm a good ass man.
Go buy something secondhand too. How about the environment? Buy something that someone's already loved. Someone's got under 100K on it.
I was going to say too, though, as far as like Vancouver goes, You got to admit, though, Vancouver's got to be the best place in Canada to live. Like the mountains, the ocean, the calm lifestyle, probably the best sunsets out there. I think the Prairie's got the best sunrises, but Vancouver has the best sunsets, and it's just an incredible place.
If you can afford it, you're paying more for a one-bedroom apartment in Vancouver than you are in some places in New York, for crying out loud. It's one of the most expensive places. Toronto and Vancouver are more expensive than Paris and Madrid. I mean, yeah, beautiful, absolutely love it out there, but not easy to live. I mean, you're working to live at that point. You're not living to work. You're working to live.
That's why we're hustling during the season. Hustle during the season, enjoy the summers a bit, no?
I guess so. And listen, I've lived in, like I said, throughout most of Western Canada, and I always say you can have a good time anywhere as long as you surround yourself with the right people.
That's very true. That is very true. It's not about the. I saw a clip from our boy Justin Waller the other day. You know, he's gone to $1 million restaurants, all this kind of stuff. Some of the best meals he's ever had is at a backyard barbecue served on paper plates surrounded by some incredible people. And it really is truly about the company, whether it's in a locker room, at a barbecue, whatever it is. That is, or even at the airport. You know, it's all about who you have around you and your company.
Mm-hmm. Some of the best food I've had is on a street in Mexico, and it was a tamale out of a corn husk. I mean, you never know where you're going to find happiness.
Well, I thought you were going to say out of a corn hole.
No, that's in Saskatchewan.
What a place. Also, shout out to your radio host. He's in Regina right now, right? Tyler Carr?
Yeah. He's a smart family. His sister's graduating with her master's in psychology, working on her PhD, so he's out in the city that rhymes with fun this weekend. Also, I have a confession to make. I posted a thirst trap on my Instagram today specifically for him because I responded to his story. He I guess he flew Winnipeg to Regina, and he liked my story. And so I threw up a clip. I got this newer pea coat. I got this new fit that I had on the other day at practice. I posted that specifically for him, and he didn't respond to my thirst trap. Well, he's a little busy right now spending time with family, so I'm sure he'll get to you in the appropriate time. He is a very busy guy, and he loves all of his fans. Does he listen to the podcast too? Your podcast? This podcast? Our podcast. No. Okay. He watches your vlogs, though. Oh, does he really? He does, yeah. Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, on mute. Because he doesn't like hearing my voice. Anything else on the agenda today, sir? Because listen, I'm not gonna sit here and play victim at all. But I have had one of the busiest weeks I've had in a long time, and that just comes with being married, having kids, working a bunch of different jobs, and I've got to get so much work done because I'm going to see Tool 1 week from today at Canada Life Center, one of my favorite bands of all time. This will be my third time seeing them, and I am so bloody excited. Wow, that is exciting. We'll talk about we got to do a Tool feature for next week then. Well, sure. Yeah, next week when we do the show will be the day that I'm going to the show. So I'll be all hyped up and ready to go. So I'll be more than happy to talk Maynard James Keenan and Danny Carey and Justin. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, I'm in. You had me at hello. Perfect. Let's do that next week. But if you're new to the show, my name is Travis Ridgen, number 33 for the Watertown Wolves. Dave Wheeler has the number one morning show, radio show in the city of Winnipeg, and he has for 20 years. And we do this show every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 in Winnipeg, 9 in Calgary, 8 in the best city in Canada, in Vancouver on the West Coast. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button to listen to the show every single Sunday when new episodes come up. Apple, Spotify, leave us a review. Leave a comment too. If you have any questions, any concerns, what kind of truck should I get? Would love to know, and we'll chat you up in the comments on Sunday. Dave, take us home. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, Dave Wheeler, and Travis Ridgen, have a wonderful week. Go Wolves, go.